Welcome to World Stories. I'm Sumi Somaskanda with your International Reporters magazine. On this week's edition, we uncork Croatia's best wines, we learn about Bangladesh's tradition of bamboo furniture, and we're serving up caterpillar fungus. You don't want to miss that. But first, Brazil is a country of incredible contrasts. It's home to the Amazon rainforest, but also vast urban sprawl. Tens of millions live in metropolises like Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. And space is at a premium, especially green space. In the city of Belo Horizonte, we meet one woman who's turned the concrete jungle around her into a rich garden of herbs to use and to sell. We also travel to New York to see how one restaurant has turned a former construction site into an award-winning urban garden. Reda Minas TV reporters Carlos Augusto Suarez and Gil Sotero show us more.
Many people dream of waking up, opening the window, and looking straight into their own cottage garden. But just because you live in an apartment doesn't mean that dream is out of reach. Instead of traditional garden plots, you can grow herbs and even vegetables in flower pots and other containers. They all bring new life into this concrete. Inspired by this new trend, Andrea Veloso has become a self-employed urban gardener and helps her customers reconnect with the natural world.
I label everything like this. Why? Because people aren't used to having their own gardens anymore. Then if mom isn't at home and her son has a stomach ache, she can tell him to make tea from this mint. Then he can tell from the label which one is mint and doesn't end up making himself tea with chives by mistake.
These mini gardens are tailored to each customer's wishes. They vary in size and cost between 12 and 15 reals, some 4 to 18 euros.
This mint plant here was as small as this one originally. And now it's big, and it has its own pot. When the plants grow, people can repot them and then replant the old pots with young plants.
So you can still have a nice garden even if you live in an apartment.
Yes, that's right. You can have a small garden or several small gardens. This container is just right for a window ledge. And this is arugula or rocket, which tastes really good in salad, pasta dishes, and in sandwiches.
Do you have a lot of customers? Would you say that urban gardening is growing in popularity?
Yes, definitely. People are yearning for more healthy lives that are more in tune with nature. These gardens aren't just healthy, they're also pleasing to the eye.
Da saúde, mas você ter uma horta em casa, para os olhos é muito bom.
Maria Valera grew up in the country and her parents had a garden. But the tough urban life in Belo Horizonte, one of Brazil's largest cities, has not diminished her craving for nature.
It's a passion. You come home and you can smell the plants and it makes you feel hungry. So you can just pick a little. It tastes so good. And it helps you switch off. When the children make themselves a sandwich, they can pick the fresh herbs and use them to flavor their food. It's really practical. The plants make me want to cook, and they make me so happy. I really like that.
For Maria, home gardening is a simple pastime with great rewards. But Brazil isn't the only country rediscovering its green roots. Urban gardens are blooming throughout the world.
Here in Manhattan, I'm about to see how a restaurant has created its own urban garden. Let's go. The River Park restaurant is here, and its award-winning garden right next to it. Originally, this property was a development site, but when the construction work stalled, the restaurant's owners asked to use the space. The garden is now a beacon project in New York where land prices are among the highest in the world. The garden's creators needed to come up with some creative solutions to make use of what little space was available. They decided to grow the plants in plastic containers like this one. The 7,400 pots are actually recycled milk containers. But with good fertilizer and a green thumb, the double-stacked milk crates can provide a good home for fruits and vegetables. More than 180 different types of plants grow here, but only one gardener is needed to keep an eye on the farm. The project manager says that the garden produces enough fresh fruit and vegetables for the restaurant, and the project has even become a tourist attraction. With cities around the world becoming more crowded, projects like the River Park Farm could be a model for future urban spaces.
Now to a crisis gripping large parts of Sudan. Weeks of heavy rains in the North African country have triggered severe flooding, and nearly 600,000 people have been affected. The area around the capital, Khartoum, has been hit hard, especially rural villages and towns that have been cut off from aid. Sudan's flood task force is doing its best to help, but they face an uphill battle. Many roads are submerged, and there are growing concerns that mosquitoes and tainted drinking water could spread disease throughout the region. NBC reporter Mohammed Osman went to the flood-hit state of White Nile and sent us this report.
We've traveled about 300 kilometers south from the Sudanese capital Khartoum into the heart of the White Nile state. Heavy rainfall and flash flooding have destroyed or damaged many towns and villages, making orientation difficult. You need a lot of patience and a guide to help you find your way around. The flooding damaged homes and displaced families throughout the region. Floodwaters have undermined the foundations of this school, making it dangerous for children to attend class. The teachers have been forced to start holding lectures in the schoolyard to keep the children safe.
6 classrooms have been completely ruined, and we dare not go into them. We prefer to stay outside. 4 classrooms are still okay.
How much damage is there?
You can find damage throughout this region. The school, the health center, all of the houses that you see here, everything is submerged. There's water surrounding the entire village, and the sky is still overcast.
Floodwaters inundated this village. The environmental and health risks are huge. Fresh water is hard to come by, and pools of stagnant water provide ideal breeding grounds for disease-carrying mosquitoes.
10 square kilometers have been destroyed. The residents are missing as well as their livestock. Survival has become very difficult.
Local people try to carry on as best they can. But a local midwife says the floodwaters are making it impossible for some of her patients to get medical treatment.
I recently had a case with complications. The woman was 3 months pregnant and was bleeding heavily. But the roads to the hospital were blocked and she lost her child. I did my best to care for her, but my means are limited.
The roads were blocked because of flooding.
Yes, all the roads were blocked. It was nighttime and there was nowhere we could take her.
Many other villages in the region are still isolated due to the flooding, complicating the government's relief efforts. With no sign that floodwaters will recede in the near future, Sudan's Flood Task Force is refocusing their efforts to help those hardest hit by the disaster.
We can say that everything is under control. The relevant authorities are doing their best. But we would like more support, because more villages and areas are being affected by the heavy rainfall as well as by the flooding.
The skies in Sudan's White Nile state are still thick with rain clouds, and local authorities have predicted more heavy rains could strike the area in the coming days. Residents are doing their best to prepare, shoring up their houses or demolishing structures that are unsafe.
Thanks to NBC for that report. Well, when we think of great wine, a few places come to mind. France, Italy, California, for example. But Croatia is slowly creeping its way onto that short list. It's been producing high-quality wine for more than 2,000 years. And families, big and small, are carrying on the tradition. In our next story, HRT's Stella Stepp takes us on a journey to Croatia's wine country. Enjoy.
Fertile black soil and rolling hills of Croatia's Podunavlje wine region, a picturesque destination on the banks of the Danube steeped in centuries of tradition. Croatia's wine roads stretch from Batina in the north to Ilok in the south. The Carpathian Basin lies in the heart of Croatia's western wine region. It's home to Kneževi Vinogradi, a small agricultural community featuring the country's oldest vineyard, which was founded in the 16th century.
Here in this cellar, with over 1,200 square meters of floor space, we have 300,000 liters of wine. We also have a vintage collection featuring over 7,000 bottles, where the oldest wine is from 1949. We take winemaking seriously in this region.
In contrast to Kneževi Vinogradi's traditional charm, the Vina Belje is one of the world's most modern wineries. Construction finished on the massive facility located near Banovo Brdo last year.
We need to start processing as soon as possible, since we harvest manually throughout the 583 hectares, so the grapes are brought here. These tanks can hold 8 million liters.
Winemaking may be big business for some, but many families are rediscovering the art of winemaking at home, like here in Suza.
I've taken this over from my father, who was a good winemaker. He sold his wine at the inn and on the doorstep like this, and we're continuing this tradition.
Near Suza is Zmajevac, where surduks, or narrow canyon-like roads, are a popular destination for tourists. And wine lovers on the hunt for something out of the ordinary would do well with a visit to Erdut to see a winemaking piece of art.
Here we have a barrel made of Slavonian oak with a capacity of 75,000 liters. It was made in 1990 by D.I.K. Jordanovac, and it's still in use today.
Graševina, or Italian Riesling, is favored throughout the Danube Basin. Many small villages are expanding their offerings for tourists.
In addition to good wine, we also offer accommodation. We have 10 double rooms.
From Roman times through the Middle Ages and up to the present day, Croatia's Podunavlje wine region has preserved the tradition of handcrafted wine on the banks of the Danube.
Onwards now to Bangladesh, to a region called Mulvibazar. With its warm climate and rich soil, the area exports fruits and teas and bamboo. It's a popular building material in Bangladesh because it's both sturdy and sleek, and it's used in all sorts of handicrafts. In our next story, ETV's Sakawat Liton introduces us to a man who's dedicated his life to making bamboo furniture. His products have grown so popular, they're in demand around the country. Here's more.
Bamboo grows widely in Bangladesh, and it's used for many different purposes in rural regions, from thatching roofs to making baskets. Amir Hossain Siraj decided to start making bamboo furniture using traditional techniques, and it's become his passion. His business has really taken off. The furniture is proving popular in his native Mulavi Bazar region and in other parts of Bangladesh as well.
I wanted to do something different. In 2001, I started making furniture for my apartment. A few people saw the furniture and began to ask me if I would make them some. So I turned it into a business.
At first, Amir Hossain Siraj worked in a plant nursery. Then he started making bamboo furniture based on his own designs. Then he started supplying furniture for weddings and other social occasions. He has really expanded his contacts.
Amir has a furniture store in Kamalganj in Mulavi Bazar district, adorned with decorative bamboo objects as well as furniture he's made.
My business is going really well, even better than the nursery.
We are very proud of him. He has set up a new kind of craft business. He is using bamboo to manufacture furniture. It's helping the development of our country.
Right from the outset, people were attracted to the furniture Amir made. This encouraged him to make the leap to manufacturing it commercially.
I've had orders from various parts of the country. I give my customers my account number so they can transfer the money, and then I deliver the furniture to their homes. We also sell the furniture here in the store.
Next door to the store is the workshop where the furniture is made. Siraj makes beds, sofas, chairs, dining tables and side tables, trays, and various decorative objects.
The bamboo has to dry for 4 to 6 weeks after harvesting. Then we polish and cut it to a specific length. Afterwards, we place the bamboo rods in a water tank for 72 hours, then leave it to dry in the shade for 15 days. After that, it's ready to use.
The bamboo furniture isn't just attractive, it's also durable. Many Bangladeshis are choosing to furnish their homes with it. It's a growing interior design trend.
Bamboo and cane are very popular. This industry is trying to do something different. That's what attracted me to it.
There's a big demand for this type of furniture. Bangladeshis living abroad have told me that it would sell in Indonesia or Malaysia. I hope our country can export it.
By using bamboo for the manufacture of furniture, we can reduce the pressure on our precious wood supplies.
Bamboo is readily available in our country. If the government takes the initiative, bamboo furniture will become popular in the entire country.
Amir Siraj has strived to improve the quality of his bamboo products. It was a long process, but he's convinced he's found the right technique to allow him to offer his customers high quality and sturdy handmade furniture.
Cane furniture is usually guaranteed to last up to 20 years, but we have a 40-year guarantee.
Mr. Siraj didn't have the opportunity to publicize his products via the mass media. Despite that, people come to him and order furniture. Or they visit the store and then get back in touch later. If the products were exported abroad, he would also be able to perfect them further.
Business is booming for Amir and his grassroots company. Both environmentally friendly and aesthetically pleasing, Amir Hossein Siraj's bamboo furniture is a sustainable choice for interior decoration.
And finally, to a culinary delicacy that's stirring up controversy in China. It all centers around a rare caterpillar fungus that's a highly potent substance in Chinese medicine. It's believed to be a cure for many diseases. Now, it may not look like much, a small brown twig with a dried worm on the end, but the fungus is in such high demand with both traditional Chinese doctors and cooks alike that it's worth more than gold. Reporter Anya Koch explains.
The Tibetan Plateau at 3,000 meters above sea level is home to a fungus that's taking the world by storm. In Tibetan, it's known as the Yartsa Gunbu, which means summer grass, winter worm. But it's actually a fungus that invades the caterpillar of the ghost moth and digests it from within.
In the winter, it buries itself in the ground. And in spring, it will grow these grass-like parts because it's been affected by the fungus. When peasants dig it, they look for the grassy part. The worm is already dead because the fungus has killed it.
The fungus grows out of the head of the caterpillar host, looking like a brown twig emerging from the ground. Harvesting it takes a keen eye. The dried, fruiting bodies are then bundled together and sold.
We separate the damaged parts because the broken ones are cheaper. The whole ones fetch higher prices.
A kilo of caterpillar fungus costs anywhere from 5 to nearly 45,000 euros, making it many times more expensive than the truffle. While the caterpillar fungus may not look very appetizing, it's in great demand.
A lot of my friends like to eat caterpillar fungus. They usually give it to their parents, their elders, and also to the children.
But what makes the fungus so popular? Pan Chaoshi is an expert in traditional Chinese medicine. He says the fungus is a remedy for a variety of ailments.
It's good for the kidneys and the lungs as well. And it can treat the backache caused by the weak kidneys. It's good for the lower limbs and the knees. It's good for sexual dysfunctions and for coughing up blood.
The fungi are also a popular ingredient in Chinese cooking. Served with beef tongue, it's a delicacy that's highly prized by wealthy Chinese. Serving caterpillar fungi is also a status symbol among urban Chinese. Others are stockpiling the fungus as an investment. After all, it's more expensive now than gold. For many local families, the fungus harvest means welcome extra income. But as the fungus's value grows, so do the number of disputes that end in violence. And some professional fungi gatherers have given up the harvest because of the damage that's being done to the environment.
The pollution is very serious. Now in my hometown, the water is almost dried up. The grass is dying, also dry. This is very bad for us in the Tibetan areas. And our Lama, our living Buddha, told us never to dig out the fungus, even if we have nothing to eat for 3 days in a row and we're starving.
Gongbu has found a new job. But as long as prices for the caterpillar fungus soar, the harvest will continue.
Sounds delicious. Well, that's all for this week's edition of World Stories. For all of us here and our partner stations around the world, we want to thank you for watching. You can see this episode again and many more at our website. That's dw.de/worldstories. Before you go, we'll leave you with this week's Picks of the World. Enjoy and see you next time.